question is, how do you stop comparing yourself to people? And simply put, the antidote to self-comparison is to know yourself inside and out. How do you go about that process? Like, how do you know yourself inside and out, I guess? Like, oh, I'm so cringe. Honestly, self-reflection. Like, I challenge you to take out a piece of paper and pen and write down all the things that make you you, right? Because once you know what makes you unique, it becomes difficult for you to question what you bring to the table and why someone would want to talk to you, right? Someone would want to talk to you over other people, for example. Specifically, I mean. Actually, the uniqueness doesn't stem from you possessing a trait that other people lack, right? The uniqueness comes down to the combination of your personality, your humor, your sense of style, like the conversations that you drift towards, the combination of all those things being unique to you, right? Because you're not going to find another combination of those things in someone else. I think it's difficult, right? But yeah, once you know all those things about yourself, it becomes difficult to compare. Self-comparison becomes really difficult. The second step to stopping self-comparison is to identify your hobbies and the things that you gravitate towards, right? Because those things can be so identity building. I guess for context, I was in a 3-year MU, like mutual understanding. I'm not allowed to be in a relationship, so it was a 3-year mutual understanding, but I guess it low-key, like, you know, it had the responsibilities because I didn't set boundaries. It had the responsibilities of one. So I didn't know myself throughout that whole process. I kind of lost myself because I abandoned the identity building hobbies that I used to have. Like, I used to read a lot before entering that MU, and I stopped because all my attention was diverted towards my studies and then them, right? Once I finally set boundaries and I ended the whole thing, I had to reevaluate who I was because I didn't know who I was anymore. So I had a clean slate. I took out a piece of paper and I was able to build my identity and like who I am. And I asked myself, what are the things that I would like to do, right? What are the things that would make me me? If I was someone else looking at myself, what are the things that I would admire about myself? What are some hobbies that I could give myself that I would admire, right? And I guess because I tend to understand things through examples, I'll provide myself as an example. I love to read. I love to read like romance, like historical fiction, science fiction, dystopian, like books like fantasy fiction, right? And so I picked that up again. And another thing that I like to do is whenever I have something that makes me happy, I take out an origami star paper and I write it down on there, and then I make it into an origami puffy star. And give me a second. I also write letters to myself in the future. I'm planning to open this when I turn 21. I'm currently 20 right now. I'm planning to open this when I turn 21, but with the way that things are looking, because it's so time consuming, I tend to only opt to write letters to myself when something crazy happens and I want to brain dump and journal my thoughts and then reflect, right? So I think I'm gonna open these when I have a certain amount of letters instead. But yes, every time something happens, I write letters to myself and I put cute stickers on them. Yeah. And on top of that, I also like taking pictures, and this is my digicam. I also like taking pictures, and whenever I see something beautiful, like I'm walking and the way that the light hits the trees, or the way that something sticks out to me and is like so aesthetically and visually pleasing, I just either whip out my phone or I whip out my camera and I snap a picture and I upload it to my VSCO. So things like that, little things that I don't have to like invest myself too much in, because I'd like to consider myself a very busy person. I have a lot of like activities going on and obligations, right? Small things like that serve to reaffirm my identity. So when I question who I am and like what I bring to the table, not only do I know my personality, my humor, my values, I also know the things that make me, right? I have physical things that I can look back on and think, yeah, that's who I am. So like I can say that with my letters, I'm a very reflective person. I also love seeing the beauty in things and romanticizing life through my pictures. I like reading and like expanding my perspective on the world through reading and, letting my imagination run wild. I'm a very imaginative person. Or what was the other activity that I listed? So I have my letters, my pictures. Oh, and with my puffy stars, like I count my blessings and I romanticize life through that too, When you have little hobbies and like identity building hobbies that make you, it becomes very difficult to compare yourself to someone because you know who you are and you know what you bring to the table. The way that you learn to stop comparing yourself to people is to redirect that sense of jealousy that you feel and make it into something more purposeful, like inspiration. I used to feel a lot of jealousy when it came to other people, right? I would hear something that they have, and it's so easy to say, well, they have that and I don't, and you just wallow in self-pity and negativity, right? So easy to do that. One thing that I learned this year is that jealousy is just my heart telling me that I want that too. For example, I used to be so jealous of people having research, or I used to be so jealous of people volunteering, or I used to be jealous of someone having a cohesive fashion sense, or I was jealous of the fact that somebody had so many friends and I didn't. I was jealous of somebody's hobbies. And if you look back at the list of the things that I said, you can notice that they were broad categories. They're not specific things. Like, I can't say that I'm jealous of someone's like neuroscience research, for example, because I know that I'm not. Like, I don't appreciate, lab techniques and like waiting in the lab and stuff. I don't appreciate the redundancy and repetitiveness of that, right? Or I don't think I would find volunteering at the food bank particularly meaningful towards me, right? And I don't feel jealous of the specific friends that person has. I just feel jealous of the fact that they have so many. And I don't feel jealous of the way that that person dresses because I don't think it would look good on me. I'm just jealous of the fact that they have a cohesive fashion sense. So when you start to put things into perspective like that, it becomes easy to take that jealousy and turn it into inspiration. I may not like neuroscience research, but I do know that I would love public health research. Or, why do I sound so cringe when I say that? Or, like, they have a lot of friends. I can too. I just have to go and like branch out and talk to people. And actually, after recognizing that, like, I actually did go out and branch out and talk to people and reconnected with people from my past. And now I can say that I'm completely secure and socially satisfied with the people that I have connections with, right? Or the fashion sense, like, I looked inward on myself and I picked out pieces and like curated my closet over time, and I think that it's pretty reflective of me, at least now. Actually, I don't like the fashion that I have right now, but I'm working on it. But my closet is curated for me and who I am right now, right? And then as for hobbies, like, you can see what I chose, like, that's me. So it becomes difficult to compare myself to other people now because when somebody mentions that they're doing something, I can easily say, that's cool that they have that. I have that too in my own way. Or if it's something that I don't have, I can say, well, I don't think I'd enjoy it if it came to me in that form, but I can find something similar that would fulfill me and satisfy me the way that satisfies that person, right? Yeah, that's another way to avoid self-comparison. Actually, I think that was the biggest piece of advice that I had to offer. Stop seeing jealousy as jealousy and start seeing it as a sign that your heart wants it too. Last piece of advice, I don't know why it took me so long to remember this, but my last piece of advice is you need to start being more discerning with the people that you choose to surround yourself with. Because who you surround yourself with, right, reflects back onto you. And so if you choose people who share the same values as you, right, it can further strengthen your sense of identity and grow and deepen the values that you already have. Like, for example, because I love to learn through examples, for example, one of the values that I possess is I like to make a difference. I just like to make a difference. Like, it doesn't have to be anything big, but if I'm helping somebody, if I'm sitting there and I'm listening to somebody, or I'm volunteering and like planting a tree, that strengthens who I am and makes me feel fulfilled. So a lot of my friends share that same desire. Like, we're all ambitious in our own ways, and we all like feel, well, not all of us, but most of my friends like feel a desire to make a difference in someone else's life. And I can look at them and think, that's who I am. Like, I see myself in my friends. That's who I am, right? And I think all of this culminates into this idea that when you know who you are, your life truly feels abundant, because you start to naturally gravitate towards things that you know would make you happy and you know would make you satisfied. So I think I'm gonna put a summary in the description below of like everything I talked about, or I'm gonna put it in a comment and pin it. But yeah, I hope that helped somebody. Bye, see you in the next one.